This we're also going to be live on our social media, on our Facebook, so that we'll push it from there so that other people can also be part of it.
Okay.
So Aba Poetry Club was founded in 2017. And the aim of founding the Aba Poetry Club was to bridge the gap between the creatives in Aba and the heavy apathy, creative apathy in the city. So everybody hears of Aba and they think only of business, the business of buying and selling, and people forget that there are other things that can actually be sold, be bought and sold in Aba. That if you listen to the city on a normal day, Aba has this musicality about it. By the way, our friends from outside the country, Aba is a city in a state called Abia in Nigeria. It's often called the commercial city of the south, the commercial center of the southeast, and in Nigeria. Okay, we're live on Facebook. We're live on Aba Poetry Club's page on Facebook. So you could please help us share with your friends. That will also help so that people who can join us here can just watch the stream on Facebook. So Aba Poetry Club was founded to bridge that gap. And I'm happy that standing here as a founder of the club president is here, that we've been able to do a lot of work around creating bridges of interface between the creatives in Aba and opportunities. And Aba Poetry Club in 2019, we realized the Aba Literary Festival. They made the first ever in the city, and a year before, we had a special guest, Ikechukwu Merije, join us there in Aba. And we've taken it up. The Aba Poetry Club has a partnership, a very fruitful one, with the National Museum of Colonial History in Aba. We've been using the grounds for our physical meetings. Just that for some time now, we've not been able to meet physically. So we are having these, we've had a series of virtual meetings, but this time we want to have these monthly open mics where we discuss topical issues as well as hold these conversations. So, so this evening we are joined by special guests. Of course, wherever you are on this Zoom, you are a special guest. So that when I use a special guest, don't give me semantic attacks. So we have a few special guests in our midst who will be sharing their experience with us. Nothing official here. We're just pouring out, sharing experience like brothers and sisters, just telling ourselves about our journeys, what we've been. Saadatu Adamu is Madam Saadatu Adamu is a very good friend of mine. She's been my boss, my friend, my boss, and we've done a few things here in Abuja, and many things waiting to be done. Madam Saadatu Adamu is the founder of Secure the Future International Initiative, which has done a lot of work around in the area of mental health, especially with the pushing professionalism around it to make people understand that, yes, you want to talk about mental health, but there has to be a way. You know, you have to talk about it as a professional. It's good for people to go see professionals. She's worked with women, people in IDP camps. The SDF has a safe home, we know, a home where they treat people with addiction and other mental health issues. here in Abuja, one of the best in the city. It's the last time we had the conversation, I realized that it's an experimental home. So they're trying to look at using non-drug remedies, to mediate mental health challenges that people have. So this evening, she's our keynote speaker, and I am proud to have her join us. Thank you very much, Madam Sada, for accepting to be here. It's a great honor. Then we have Tosinga. I've known Tosinga here for a few years now. Tosinga has supported the activities of the Aba Poetry Club. Tosinga is, how do I define Tosinga? Tosinga is a musician, but sometimes I don't want to use that term because she does a lot of things. But I met Tosinga through her music here on Facebook, and it's been a wonderful meeting these years. She is someone who believes in the art. If you could take a trip to her website, www.tosinga.com, to go see have a full view of who Tosinga is. Tosinga is a Nigerian. She's based in America. I mean, she's from Ibadan, but based in Atlanta in the United States of America. So she's connecting from there. Tosinga has done a lot of things. She's been an actor. She's been a musician. She's a storyteller. And also she is also a podcaster. One of her podcast channel, Diaspora Talks with Tosinga, where she discusses issues concerning Nigerians living abroad, Africans living abroad. Thank you very much, Ma, for joining us this evening. It's an honor to have you. Then we go to my friend, Yao P. I met Yao P. I've known Yao P for a very long time here on Facebook. And he has been very consistent with his art. He has been very consistent with his art. Yao P is a Ghanaian. Yeah, Ghanaian. I have the issue with that. Yao P is a Ghanaian, and he's joining us he's connecting from Accra in Ghana this evening. And he's going to be sharing his experience. He's a poet and so many things. Yao P is so many things. Has over 16 master's degrees and diplomas. That's an intellectual guru. So he's going to be sharing his experience with us this evening. The whole idea of this meeting is to learn, even as we enjoy poetry and all. Is just to share knowledge. Chalondra, Miss Chalondra is I call her a beautiful human for obvious reasons. She was one of those essential health workers who saved the world in 2020. I remember I wrote her a piece in honor for that, her work during the COVID-19 pandemic. Hello, can you hear me? Okay, I'm back. So she works in healthcare in the United States of America, in Mississippi. She lives in Alabama, and this evening she'll be sharing perspectives, be sharing her ideas about mental health and her personal journey. Because the unique thing about these meetings is that when you have these conversations with people who have really been through it, it makes the conversation easier, because people are not just coming to read theory for you; they are telling you their life's journey. So this evening, Chalondra is going to be sharing with us how she's been able to overcome mental stress, how she's managing her mental health, how she. So I'm looking forward to that conversation, and I hope we all have our pen and our paper. I have mine. You have your pen and paper. It makes sense to bring them out and go to it. Finally, my friend, Odd Felix. Odd Felix is a young man who inspires. The young man who inspires, and this evening he's going to be giving us sharing perspectives as well as also giving performances on of some of his pieces. He's a rapper, he's a poet, but this evening he's a spoken word artist. So we're going to having that being from his theory and artistic theory. So we're done with the introductions. We've defined about Poetry Club and our guests. I say we get down to it. Can you kindly mute your mics so that because we're about to get into these sessions now. So if we mute our mics, we can hear what everybody's saying. So I'd like to invite Dr. Sadatu Adamu to please take it away. Dr. Sadatu Adamu, if you're there, can unmute.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you, ma'am.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you, ma'am. Please, can every other person hear her?
I can hear her. I can hear her.
Yeah, I can.
Okay. So, ma'am, please take it away.
Can you hear me now?
We can hear you, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so good evening, everyone. My name is Saadatu Adamu. I've already been introduced. Thank you so much, Happy Prince, for the platform. And I want to also appreciate everyone that has taken his time to come and spend this very, very beautiful moment with us. Yes, today we will be looking at mental health. Sorry, suicide. And sorry, I'm so sorry about that. That's how much I love to talk about mental health. Okay, so suicide, right? And today is World Suicide Prevention Day. It's really interesting to, have platforms like this really create awareness and help others to understand that suicide really is not the solution. Suicide really is not the solution, but there are, ways that we can help ourselves and then other people that are around us. But before we even get into the business of the day, I would like to say that there's a need to understand that mental health plays a huge role, when we talk about suicide. So it means that suicide doesn't just occur. An individual will not just wake up and say, oh, I want to commit suicide, but something leads to that. Now, with that, let me just start and say, what is mental health? Basically, how we think, feel, and act. And then, so what is suicide? Suicide is, that act of taking one's life voluntarily or intentionally. So you hear people say, oh, yesterday I sincerely wanted to just give up. I'd already written my notes. In fact, I had already, sent out messages. I've told my friends that at this time I won't be, you can't find me anymore, So basically that's what suicide is. Someone intentionally, voluntarily saying, I don't want this again. I don't want to do this again. I want to end it. But why would someone think like that? Something must get someone to that point where he thinks, in that manner. And what could it be? Like I said, there's a link between suicide and mental health.
Hello, Ma, I think I think our network is down. It's crazy in Abuja today.
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. We lost a bit. I think it was your network.
Okay, that's fine. Okay. So I just want to share a little story before I just talk about suicide a little, and then, I let others just do their thing as well. Sometime last year, I think in December, on the 29th of December, we woke up in the morning and we got a call from a family friend that sent a message and said, oh, I lost my daughter this morning. And, we just didn't understand it. What happened? Apparently, she had written a note. In fact, she even told her friends she was going to die on the 29th. But maybe they thought it was a joke, or maybe they felt she probably will not do it, or she's just saying it, because she's seeking attention, in quote. Most times when people say something like that, they will say, oh, you're seeking attention. But that happened. So what was this she wrote? She said, I can't deal with this anymore. I don't know how to tell the world about what I've been going through with my dad. I know that this is wrong. Islamically, I'm not supposed to go and face, my God and have this discussion with him. But I don't want to be here on earth, and be he's supposed to be my father, but the things that, he does to me and all of that. So that was what she wrote on her laptop, and she left the laptop at her friend's place, but no one knew about it until they returned the laptop to the dad, and then he
Yeah, I think
then that like he my mommy in a meeting. My network is really bad. I don't know. Can you hear me?
yes, I can hear you. You just need to keep going.
Okay, that's fine. And so when they took the laptop back, well, the father found the notes, and he was a bit confused because to him, she's in a good school. He pays so much money. She's in like 200 level. So why would she want to commit suicide? If at all, she has a problem with him, it should have been maybe school fee and all of that. But he's been doing all of that. So why would she, commit suicide? That's to him thinking, I mean, as a father, I've given you everything. So I don't expect that you should even think of committing suicide. And then I shouldn't even be the one reason why you say you want to commit suicide. But anyways, that happened. That happened. So it's important for us to know that sometimes when people get to that point where they commit suicide, it's not because they just want to, but something gets them to that point where they do it. Now, the research says that in a year, annually, over 30,000 people die each year of suicide, over 730 in the world. So you can imagine if we have over 730 people in the world, that means we're saying that it's possible that, every day people are, doing this. Now, research also says that suicide is as a result of one, maybe depression, because that's the end part of depression. Most times people are going through some mental health issues. They don't even know. They're not able to really dictate, they can't tell the signs because they feel this is how I've been, or this is what I feel. Or sometimes again, they don't want to be stigmatized. So even when they feel a certain way, they don't want to talk about it because they feel when I share it with someone, the person is going to use it against me, or, they won't really understand what I'm going through. Sometimes again, because society has said we're human beings and we just have to, box our feelings, we can't share everything, or maybe because most times when we talk about it, people tend to want to change, look at it from a different perspective. Or again, you want to talk about suicide and, you attack that family. There's already, someone that's committed suicide. So you just don't want to be in that space where people just, talk about your family in a certain way, or talk about that.
You just have to keep going.
Yes. Yes. So sometimes people don't, want to. I mean, what are some of the reasons why, people get to that point where, they commit suicide? Well, substance use. Research has also shown that, people that are struggling with substance use or abuse get to that point where, they tend to want to commit suicide. Also, research has also shown that people struggling with psychosis, all right? So sometimes you're having issues with, trying to really understand things. I mean, highs and lows, mood swings, you get to that point where you just don't understand why you behave a certain way, or you don't even know that you are carrying a particular gene, all right? So a gene that probably has that psychosis, which can get an individual to that point where he commits suicide. Now, I mean, life experiences is also another thing that can get an individual to commit suicide. Life experiences as simple as, I give an example. I remember when my cousin committed suicide a long time ago. And what was it about? He was just upset. He was angry. My auntie said, you took this. And he said, I didn't take it. And of course he was angry. Later they found the thing. They apologized to him. But he felt like, I mean, why would I be the only child that they would always accuse of doing things? Why would I always be that very bad child? And of course he took his life. So life experiences. What other thing could lead to suicide? Relationships. I mean, recently in Nigeria, we saw a video on social media that was trending, of a lady who wanted to commit suicide. Why? Because her partner left her for another woman. Now the question is, you hear people say, oh, maybe she's seeking attention. No. I mean, but she saw the signs. There were red flags. So how come? Why did she go into that relationship? But most times they forget that the difference between you and I, or the person who just committed suicide or is attempting to commit suicide, is resilience. That you can cope, that I can cope, does not mean that everyone can cope. So it's important for us to create spaces like this so that people can have the opportunity to learn that even coping skills, is being taught. You can learn them. That you are thinking a certain way does not mean that must happen to you, but that you can even build yourself to a point where you are really strong. However, I know we have creative minds here. And one of the ways to really escape, from mental health issues is, creativity. I know it has a very strong hold. It's like a strong therapy, but most times we hide under that, knowing that we're going through a lot. So I would say that it's very important for us to understand that mental health has a lot, and it's like our daily driver. It drives our activities. It drives everything that we do. It's what we, in fact, it's what we eat, drink, and it's basically everything. So it means that if you are not in that state of mind where you can understand certain things and do things right, and even seek help, then it will be difficult, to say, I'm not going to think in that line of suicide or something. I remember yesterday I was out to do for a workout, and we had pamphlets, and the pamphlet was saying, say no to suicide. And we met a group of people, and they said to us, no, 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 you know what? We're not even going to commit suicide. Like we're really enjoying this life, like we don't want to die. But the truth of the matter is that individual who is thinking but today, yes, I'm so sorry, the network is really, really crazy. So so sometimes even that individual that is struggling and is planning to commit suicide can be, around you, and you will never know, because most times they don't say it. They are planning it, they're thinking it, they want to do it, but they don't want to talk about it because they know that maybe when they talk about it, nobody will understand what they're going through. And most times when an individual gets to that point where he begins to think suicide, then obviously he has lost all the courage and everything. And he's already saying, you know what, I am tired, like I don't want to live again. Like, getting to that point where you're hopeless and saying, I'd rather just go. I don't want to live anymore. So it's important for us to just, have this conversation, open, platforms like this where people can just talk about it, where people can understand that it's okay to not feel okay, but the most important thing is to be sure that there's someone that is willing to listen to you. When I say someone, I mean a professional. Because most times, yes, people don't like talking about their issues, not because they really don't want to talk about it, but because of how it's been perceived. But not understanding that there are professionals who can actually help you go through the process, I think is very important. So having conversations like this, I think would really help and, get us to that point where we just create awareness and help people understand that people don't just wake up to commit suicide, but something leads to that point where they get to commit suicide. But what do? Let's create awareness on things like depression so people understand and know the basic signs, and symptoms when they experience it, what they can do, how they can also help people. Let's also, get to that point where we talk about substance use, why there should be at least some level of awareness so that people can understand what this gets them to. Yes, most times people take drugs not because they want to, but they are hiding from something. Most times people are depressed, not because they want to get themselves depressed, but because something has led to that point where they, become depressed, and then it gets to the point where they are thinking suicide. So I would say that this is like a fantastic thing that we're doing today, having conversations like this, opening up, giving everybody the opportunity to talk about it from different perspectives. Also, sharing lived experiences, because it's only when we share experiences that people will understand that, oh, okay, it's actually a normal thing. Like I just shared my experience about my cousin. I think my cousin died not almost 20 years now. Yeah, long, long time ago. But I mean, as at then, no one was talking about suicide, but now it's like, it's everywhere. So it means that this has been in existence for a long time, but because people don't like talking about it, or maybe because, of that stigma and everything, so people don't really want to come out and say. So it's important for us to have conversations like this. Now, ask me again, why are we having conversations like this? So we can create awareness, So we can also help people understand that there's help. Yes, there's help. You know, when we talk about it, it gives people the opportunity to really come out and share their experiences and seek help, and also come to spaces like this so they can at least have people that understand them and would want to, you know, go through the process with them. On this, I'll just say thank you for the opportunity to just come and, you know, speak on this. And I'm sure that with other speakers, we'll still be here to learn more and network. Thank you very much. But if you have any question, please, you can ask me. Thank you.
Wow, thank you very much. Thank you very much, Madam Saadatu Adamu, for that wonderful session. It's always good to listen to the expert on some of these issues. So I would like us to drop our questions in the chat so that I'll go through them, and I'll go through them and share with the. Okay, when it's time for questions, we'll have about 20 minutes for our speakers to respond to questions, and somehow we somehow behind well behind schedule actually. So we'll do something. We'll break here while you articulate your questions and drop in the chat. We'll break here and take a performance from Idulala. I don't know if he's ready to give us share a piece with us. If you have the agenda, you see that we have about 4 members of the club who will be sharing performances with us. So if Idulala is, if he's good to go, we are good to listen. Idulala, are you there? You can unmute.
Yes, I'm here. I don't know. Can you hear me?
Loud and clear.
Okay. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening, Idulala.
Okay. Let me do this piece of poetry. And I titled this piece, Inspire Me. Tell me a story, sort through the gory and bring out the glory. Tell me that this half-empty cup is actually half-filled. Show me the roses, but remind me that they dance among thorns. Show me the dark clouds, but do not forget to trace out the silver linings. Tell me about sleek cars and designer sneakers, but jolt me with the truth about the dignity in labor. Give me a tour of the mansions and the castles, but do not let me build them in the air. Tell me that while the rulers go home with huge pay packages, the teacher deserves to be paid in gold. Tell me that while the doctor mends your body and charges you high, the poet who mends your soul deserves to be paid in gold. Tell me that this land is dry and parched, but remind me that it is in the desert an oasis is found. Remind me that it was from Nazareth a savior came. Tell me the Abba story, but do not forget to remember that it is in that story that I and the Abba Poetry Club dwell. Thank you.
As always, Idulala, please, you can pump your mics. If you feel that piece, you can pump your mics. You can pump your mics and let Idulala know that you appreciate the piece. This is that's Idulala. At the club we have monikers. We took stage names. I don't know if we planned it. People took stage names at some point, and that's Idulala's stage name, and that piece is evergreen. Thank you very much, Idulala, for that wonderful piece. In that piece, I took 2 lines. Show me the roses, but remind me they dance among thorns. And this one that really speaks to me, because a poet deserves his meat. The poet who meant your soul deserves to be paid in gold. I love that. Idulala, you can say that line again. Thank you very much for that particular line, that the poet who meant your soul deserves to be paid in gold. And I think we deserve to be paid in gold. So thank you, Idulala. We go to the next, we'll take 2 performances now. The club president, Mr. President, if you are here, aficionado, please, would you please take it. Aficionado has a piece titled A Hummingbird Tells Me. It's a piece for the environment, but it has a very beautiful value for the mind. Aficionado, if you are here, we are ears.
Okay, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Loud and clear.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you, Aficionado.
Can you hear me?
We can hear you, Mr. President. Yes. Aficionado, we can hear you.
Okay, thank you so much. It's entitled Okay, thank you so much. This piece is entitled The Hummingbird Tells Me. It's about the environment, the depletion thereof. I read, a hummingbird tells me, the sky is no longer scalar, not anymore. It is not blue, either, it's cold. It is smoky choky. I called it jokey until I was choked, and by same smoke blinded. Choked, the hummingbird home no more. Metropolitan smoke. A salamander fish told me the shorelines are receding. I wondered that swimming like none is my home mistake. The oceans are not blue, not anymore. The chasm, the sludge, eating me. It keeps me asphyxiating. I think it's one further along, maybe whom we will found until my river new land reclaimed by urban overlap, That pushing my good step to the margin, metropolitan push. The lack of being warned me that listen not. I shall soon be history is seen when the completion is done. On feeding factories, my
Mr. Logwachi, sorry. Mr. Logwachi, sorry. Mr. Logwachi, can you hear me? Mr. Logwachi? Aficionado?
I can hear
your audio, you need to adjust, you need to look at your audio. You need to look at your audio. We can't hear anything. And I've seen in the chat, people can hear you. So you need to look at your audio.
But my audio, can you hear me now?
We can hear you, but it's jumbled. We can't make out the words. For audio, so we can't make out the words.
I wouldn't know. Maybe I have to do this network, but I'm fine.
Okay. Continue. Continue. Do it. Finish it. Finish it.
It sounds better now.
Yeah, it's better now. Finish it.
The elephant, the lion, tiger, and other cats are rarity of this age. Yes, this metropolitan age. That is danger, not safety. So its interest sky, the orbit of space, shrinking from torture. The slacking edge of force, slipping and sliding away orbitally to the precipice, the cliff of existence. Follow the existence, metropolitan existence. The rhino and hippo, gray marine giants, beating ashore and sea. Welling, pushing, mariner's compass is lost. His conscious sea. God made man and rested. Man never rested. Man slew animals. Man found his earth. This very earth, metropolitan earth. Time was when the earth was young, when the earth was whom we called. Time was when cooler was this earth, God's earth, nature's earth, man's earth. Time was before metropolitan, when no even was. This was all creation and flesh today. The earth, not home seat for me. The mass, create order. Here, this campaign of madness, mass colonization, metropolitan colonization. A hummingbird, a salamander fish, locust bean, wild cat, all the feral inverted fetching species. Someone me that listen not. What will the earth have you done? I remember we carried this earth. I summoned my conscience, but to the hummingbird, I have no answer. Only wishing the earth was too young, perhaps younger than it years ago. The grass is thereof green as sea. The saline and fresh water blue and bright. This was my spelling for my HP metropolitan. Does it not tell you the size of deadly sight, the size of emptied marine, the size of treeless forest, all your lost in metropolitan space? What property is here? We choke, definitely choke. We lost our cool natural fish breed to this metropolitan space. Thank you.
Well, thank you, aficionado. It's unfortunately a lot of people couldn't make out the words, but this is a very beautiful piece. I think this piece is over. This piece was written in 2018 or 2019, if I remember, and it's a piece that speaks to the phenomenon of extinction of nature. That there are things within our environment that may not be here in the next decade, you know, some animals and all that. It's a piece that also speaks to this issue today because the minds of young people are going into extinction. So that's the connection between that. And so it's a beautiful piece, Mr. Aficionado. Thank you very much for that piece, and we appreciate it. So if Ume MLA, okay, Chief Veronica. Okay, Chief Veronica.
God, what's this?
You can step in and you can drop a piece. Are you ready?
Oh.
Are you ready?
Oh.
Is Kingsley?
God.
Is Kingsley the poet here? Kingsley the poet. Okay, if it's not there, then okay, you're not ready.
Network is disturbing me here.
We can hear you.
Okay.
We can hear you. So
okay.
If you're ready, you can go. So she has a piece titled
okay.
Oh, okay. It's not in this this version of the that I have. Okay, chemistry of hope. Chemistry of hope or so.
Yes, that's
all right.
it.
So I'll
can
take
you
it
hear
away.
me?
Yeah, we can hear you. Take it away.
Okay. Imagery of good evening, everybody.
Good evening,
this
Voice
is
Africa.
imagery of hope. This is imagery of hope. We are the carriers of hope, an embodiment of light for posterity. We carry on our lips an unquenchable song of survival. We are the songs of victory. The voices on a hill. On these souls, we bear the weight of colorless laughter. On our shoulder, we wear the weight of the world crumbling under the blisters of father's shoes. But we do not blink an eye, lest we be turned feeble. Through dark and sin, we wear the emblem of courage, shutting out the world, her cares, and all her stare, because they don't define us. Our hope is the light that brings us closer to the lands of joy. And though this vision seems blurry, we will yet peer through, standing tall amidst the desert places. We shall wear this anthem on our lips till dawn comes early or maybe at dusk. Thank you. From Voice of Africa.
Thank you very much, Voice Africa. Thank you very much. That was wonderful. Some lines there that caught my fancy. Weight of colorless laughter, emblem of courage. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Appreciate you sharing. I remember the first time that Voice Africa came to the club and she couldn't express. And but today, I think at some point she started moderating our meetings in about the time. So that's one of the beautiful things that we've been able to get out of our meeting as a club. So thank you very much. I'm going to invite a very special person. I've introduced that earlier.
Wow.
Tosinga is
Thank you.
Tosinga is a phenomenon. Ogechi, you may have to mute your mic. Tosinga is a phenomenal woman, and she has a beautiful thing, you know, with the art, and the way she does her music is just crazy. Forgive my use of that word. Tosinga is someone who inspires, who understands art. She uses art. She handles it with the expertise of even a creative god. Yes, I have that the license, the expertise of a creative god. So I'd like to invite her to please share a thing or two. Tosinga is somebody whose life we can learn from. And the beautiful thing about this having her here is that she's somebody who she's active. She's active on the scene, and I know that she's been through some of these things that we have been discussing today, and some of the things that Dr. Sadatu Adamu had highlighted during her session. So I want to invite somebody who's also been a very strong benefactor of the club. She's supported our programs in the past, and today we have her gracing our screen, and I hope she brings a beautiful smile with her. So join me as I make welcome Tosinga. You're welcome, ma.
Thank you so much. Test, can you hear me? Loud and clear.
Can hear you.
Good. Good evening, everybody. Thank you so much for having me. Happy Prince and the Abba Poetry Club. It's such an honor and a pleasure to be here to share with you. I don't take it for granted. We are all creatives trying to express our calling in this place called Earth. So today's topic being balancing life, creativity, and mental health. First of all, we all know, and I'm going to pose a rhetorical question. Why are creatives susceptible to mental illness? Why is it that there's the myth of the mad genius? I know that myth of the mad genius tends to romanticize creatives, but there is a particular reason, scientifically proven and with results from research, that creatives, and when I say creatives, I'm sure you all understand, it involves, you know, visual artists, actresses, musicians, singers, have the part of their brain that is more active. The white matter of a creative brain is supposedly larger than the regular brain. And that part of the brain is what's in charge of communication and critical thinking. And we tend to, you know, be very hyper in our imagination because, of course, as creatives, we are creating something out of nothing most times, you know. So that part is so hyped, and we tend to be easily stressed. We tend to be easily anxious. We want people to accept our art. We want perfection. you know, even though we're supposed to be creating for ourselves first before we deliver to the world, we are still easily over analyzing what we have created, hoping people will accept it. You understand? So all that going on tends to affect our mind, tends to make our the mental aspect of us overactive. So we are susceptible to stress, we're susceptible to anxiety, we're susceptible to mental illness, we're susceptible to depression, and most times eventually suicide, as we can tell from, you know, legends of time past who commit suicide, you know, or just get really bad depressive moments. You know, I can mention a few. I don't know if you're familiar with, of course, the Van Gogh painter, Frida Kahlo, people like that. So we have already established the fact that creatives are more susceptible to mental illness due to, you know, our high energy, both spiritual and mental. Also, another thing that seems to break us as creatives is the fact that the society tends to find it hard to accept our creative works to be a source of sustainability for us. So capitalism and creativity do not go together. It starts from growing up as children, having that natural artistic talent, and our parents telling us, what do you want to become in future? Or you can now say artist. You know, our parents want us to become doctors, engineers. So it starts from there. And then when you now grow up to start pursuing the arts, you need to have, I guess this is global, but here too, you need to have a job. They will say, get a real job. While you are pursuing your art, you have to get a real job to put food on the table. So sometimes when you start creating art, your art does not put food on your table. So you find yourself having to do, you know, maybe sometimes menial jobs or jobs that you do not have passion for, or jobs that you are not even happy doing, but you're just doing it for the money. At the same time, you still want to be creative and pursue your, you know, so having those two working alongside each other creates a disbalance for the mind. And then the time that you're supposed to spend creating is spent chasing money. You understand? So it's then, because they say time is money, there's a tendency to even not have time to rest, because rest also helps creativity. When you have time off, that's why we have some creative people say, you know, they are going away for months. Writers mostly do that. You know, I have a very good friend who I already understand his flow. When I don't see him for 3 months, he said he has gone to the mountains. So he's a bohemian. So apparently, you now find out that people like that, you know, have to their creative works when they come from their time of hiding, or there's a word I'm looking for, hibernation. They come out and they bring up genius work because they are not chasing money, going to a 9-to-5 every day. So they have that time to create. So that also kind of creates a discrepancy for creative people because we are chasing money. And because it gets to a stage after it's a long-term thing for an artist to eventually be at a place where their art can pay, where the art can put food on the table, where they can depend on their art. It either maybe takes a long number of years or just luck. We have some musicians who were maybe born with a silver spoon, if I can mention names, you know, maybe people like Davido, for example, born into a wealthy family. So he had the money to fund his creativity. So it can either be by virtue of luck or by virtue of working hard and staying consistent. And when it comes to working hard and staying consistent on a long-term basis, there's a story I want to read to you. It just so happens that that post dropped in my feed about an older friend of mine. He's a professor of visual arts in a university in Texas. And as I was thinking about today's topic, his post dropped in my feed. Please indulge me. Let me read that post because it just answers the question of how the balance of pursuing your art as an artist and making money. This man is well known for his arts. In case you see my eyes darting, I'm reading the post. And he wrote this post titled, "The Gift That Keeps Giving." He's been doing art for years. He's almost, I don't know his exact age, but I would say maybe mid-60s, late 60s. He just got a pleasant surprise 2 days ago, according to this post. So I'm going to read verbatim now. I got a pleasant surprise 2 days ago. A Hollywood film company called and said they wanted to feature a painting I did in 1994 in their forthcoming movie. They wanted to license the painting for the movie. I didn't understand what that meant. What do you mean you'd like to license the painting for the movie? We will pay you to hold a right to use the image of the painting for the movie, publicity, games, and so on, they explained. But you know, I already sold that painting to a museum, I said. Yes, they said, we don't need the painting itself. We just want the reproduction of the painting because you own the copyright to the reproduction. I recalled the painting. It was my very first sale in the US. Well, it's true that I sold a couple of paintings earlier, but they were all sold cheap to friends who wanted to buy the paintings at moments when I was broke in a strange land called America. But the painting was one that a museum wanted to buy specifically. When the curator of the museum called me and said they wanted to buy that painting in 2002, I was overjoyed. How much do you want for the painting? The curator of the museum that wanted the painting asked. I didn't hesitate. I said, $5,000. She was quiet. Did I ask for too much? I was thinking. I decided I would be open to negotiating. I was going to say that when she broke the silence. Come on, Moyo, she said. That's too low. We can pay you 4 or 5 times that amount for your painting. When I went to the university to study art, nobody even told me you could sell a work of art. I had decided since I was a child that I would be a teacher, and that was the way I would make a living. I was just too happy when a friend said, I like your painting. May I have it? And they simply got it for free. Decades later, some of my friends confessed they took the paintings from me free at Ile-Ife and transported them to Lagos and sold the paintings to collectors. It's funny, isn't it, that they flung the Yoruba adage at me that said, Orese were, Obusogun, which means, then he added another proverb, Adani lo agbara lo fi koni, which means that, you know, once you've done something wrong to me, you actually strengthen me by doing that. But he now said, I digress. It was with the mindset of producing, but not marketing, that I went to the United States. I've always painted, not because I intended to sell them, but because I hated hanging out at parties and clubs and concerts with all the excess time at my disposal. I had to do something to kill time. So I painted and I painted because it fills up my time. It makes me happy to paint. It makes me happy to write, to read good stuff that others write. If I had a free moment, I wouldn't go to a club to drink a beer. I always go to the studio to do more painting. I don't care if James Brown or Lady Gaga are performing free in the next house. I am not interested. I will get a record of their songs, plug it in my earphones, serenade myself in my studio and paint. Women, they have to chase me. Otherwise, I'm unavailable. The time it takes to woo a woman is enough to complete a huge work of art for me. That has always been the way I live. Now, people are seeking my work to buy, and it still amazes me. It's interesting that my former students are now making tons of money from their works. Some of them send their collectors to me to buy my work. Now, back to the Hollywood license. They emailed me a contract and I signed it. This particular painting that the Hollywood firm just licensed for their production took me an entire week to complete. I was working 18 hours a day in the summer of 1994. It was a particularly hot summer in Wisconsin in 1994, and I was holed up in a cheap, tiny one-bedroom apartment with an air conditioner that made more noise than the cool air. In that stuffy room, I stretched out my canvas and painted night and day to take my mind off the unbearable heat. It worked. The painting took my mind off the heat, and over the years has made me $1 or $2. More than anything else, it showed me that one could live a comfortable life as an artist, if that was what one wanted to do. It's just one of those gifts that keep on giving. I sure am happy that I didn't listen to those who told me, why would anyone study art at the university? You should be a doctor, engineer, lawyer, accountant, or study some other professional trade. It's better not to go to school than to go to a university to study how to draw. I'm grateful that I had parents who allowed me to study whatever I want to study. That was the end of that post. And what as much as I'm an advocate for, working hard and making income, I'm not an advocate for laziness. So if your art is not working, it's not bringing you the money, of course, if you can take up an extra job to do that, do that. But have a mindset of creativity throughout that, and have a vision and a goal in mind. That if you want to make it your product of creativity, entrepreneurial, that will be an eventual thing, so that you don't get burnt out. Burnout is an issue for creative people, which also leads to mental illness. So having spoken about mental illness, I want to go on more the positive sides of what to do. Let me check my time and make sure I'm still okay. What to do to maintain mental health, the practical things that you can do as a creative to make sure that you're mentally healthy. They are called self-care. What you can do for self-care tips. Because the human being is divided into body, spirit, and soul. I would take it like that. We are all spirits living in a human body, and we all have a soul. And as I said, as creatives, our souls, our minds, I can use that interchangeably, mind and soul, is more active than the regular person. Body, physical exercise, stretch daily, look good, because when you look good, you feel good. It also elevates your mind. Stretch, hydrate, drink water, sleep at least 7 hours when possible. Rest, because in those moments of rest, especially if you can't go to a beach or go up to the mountains like my friend, you actually get inspiration for creativity. Have quiet moments, rest, get enough sleep, eat a balanced diet, eat lots of vegetables, make sure your food is balanced. Take power naps. If you do not have up to 7, if your way of living does not allow for 7 to 8 hours in the middle of the day, take 10 minutes. Before this program, I had a 10-minute power nap, and I could feel the difference. So take power naps, body, mind and soul, journal. There's poets here, there's musicians here. If you have thoughts that are disturbing you, take out a journal. Journaling has been proven to help mental health. Write your thoughts down, just write and express. It also may, be equates to the fact that you're talking to someone. But in a way, you're talking to yourself when you're writing these feelings down, write your emotions down. Look at inspirational quotes. The internet and social media has made everything accessible now. So many inspirational quotes that make sense. Let's be careful of that, because there's so many motivational quotes out there. The ones that speak to you. There's some accounts that I follow that help me. I can drop them in the chat, I'll type them in the chat if you want to check them out. Inspirational quotes, I get some from Pinterest also. I know there's the slang that the kids say, this is we outside. But we're going to use we outside in a different way. We're going to go out in nature. We're going to walk outside. We're going to breathe fresh air. Calm down. Listen to the sounds of the birds. Nature, God is in nature. So let nature also heal us. God has given us all these things to help us. If there's a problem, there's definitely a solution in what God has created for us. So take breaks. For the mind and soul, also listen to music, which is, of course, I'm big on that as a musician. I have some playlists on Spotify. If you want to follow, I'll drop that too. I have a playlist called Songs That Make Me Sleep. I have healing music. I have healing African music. The music I make, some of them also are geared towards healing, because as creatives, we are all healers. But who heals the healers? Who heals the healers? You understand? The healers need healing too. So some of us, maybe God has graced us to be a healer to the healers, So music, and there's science has proven that a particular frequency is called 432 hertz, 432. That frequency in music does wonders in calming the mind and focusing the soul and aiding concentration and reducing stress. So just Google on YouTube, 432 hertz music. And if you are stressed or worried from the day, just listen to that kind of music and just calm down. So listen to music, read a book, then have a supportive community. You don't have to have a large community of friends, but have quality over quantity. Have your chosen friends that do you good, that their energy is positive, that when you're around them, you smile. In fact, it has also proven that if you're depressed or having mental illness of any sort, if you're around babies babies, because they are pure, the things of the world has not, when you carry a baby or play with a baby, it's energetically helps. It helps. Or also, if you're giving back, if you volunteer in a charity organization, if you're giving back, because you're giving, you're in a way, you're actually receiving when you're giving. So we need to step out of ourselves and be selfless, you know, in times of depression or mental illness, and do things for others. And just in the spirit of gratitude, also be grateful for life every day when you wake up. I know some of these things are easier said than done, but that's why there has to be a community. You know, Dr. Sadato talked earlier about, you know, talking to someone. So that's where that community comes in. So I touched on mind and soul, and now to spirit. You know, no matter what religion you are, we all believe in the existence of a God who created the heavens and the earth. So pray. Prayer is important. Meditation is important. Being still, being silent in the presence of God and listening to him. Just pray, self-reflect, repeat words. Words are spiritual. Words are spiritual. Words are containers. So when you speak positive, it bounces off and goes back into your system and, you know, and shifts things around. So because words are spiritual, speak positive affirmations. Speak for positive affirmations. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. That's a biblical quote. But if you just want to make it generic, I am happy, I am blessed, you know, because when your ears hear your own voice talking back at you, it will shift energetically. So also giving gratitude. I've talked about breathing also. Breathing is also, that's back to mind and soul. Breathing, when you do deep breaths, the oxygen circulates in your body, you know, and calms your blood down. So deep breaths, that's why we have the Asian culture doing yoga and things like that. You know, you can apply all those principles. Even that Asian culture of yoga is a combination of physical exercise and stretches and breathing. Because if you're doing stretches as a yoga person and you're not breathing, it's meaningless. So they combined it. They combine breathing and they combine breathing and they combine physical movement, stretches, dance, you know, dance, movement, you know, dance. Your body, even if you're feeling sad, you know, if you move, you listen to music and move with it, you know, it helps. It helps. I'm telling you what I have done personally that has proven for me. You know, sometimes it's easier said than done, but you have to do it, you know, by faith. Anyway. So, one more thing before I leave. Talking of what God has given us, aromatherapy. I believe, I am still a student of that. I believe that God has given us herbs and leaves. And in different culture, I know we have them in different ways. Maybe they combine some kind of spirituality with it. Let's even remove the spiritual aspect of it. Leaves, herbs, the Panadol and Tylenol that we take, they are all made. I'm sure our nurse that we have in the house will talk more on that. They're all made from leaves. So when you know what this leaf is for, this herb is for, and you use it, I believe in the power of essential oils. And it's been proven, for example, that lavender calms the soul, calms the mind. So I use essential oils, you know, and those are what I'm going to use in my eventual practice that I want to have later in life. Is my future plan to have a wellness center dedicated just for creatives, dedicated with the power of the healing hands, the power of touch. When you combine the power of touch, which the Asian culture calls Reiki, which they use in Christian churches, but they will not admit. When they say they are laying hands on people in the Pentecostal church system and they are doing that and they say they feel it's actually Reiki. When you now combine that with the word of God as Bible, then is a Christian. When you Reiki, they also believe in the power of touch that heals, that heals. So power of touch, power of herbs, slash essential oils. So that's what I'm still learning. I'm still a student. So I'm going to school for that, for alternative wellness. So yeah, so all this are just to promote the well-being of the creative mind, using all this God-given nature, music, rest, leading to pain relief, leading to anxiety relief, leading to stress relief. It's possible to be a creative that can handle mental illness, just like physical illness, because we tend to judge mental illness. You see someone who has diabetes, you give them medicine. But when someone has depression and they want to use I don't know what it's called, something that has maybe serotonin or whatever, we call them crazy. we tend to judge and stigmatize people with mental illness, bipolar depression. You know, look at Kanye West, for example. You know, we laugh at him. People laugh. I don't. People laugh at him, and you know, but he's probably, of course, on medication. But when people are on medication for mental illness, we should not judge. You know, just like we don't judge somebody for using Panadol for headache or high blood pressure pills for high blood pressure. You understand? So it's a total being, physical, spiritual, mental, 3 in 1. So yes, it is possible to do self-care to manage our mental health. It's possible to use self-care as creatives to remain mentally healthy. I hope I've helped. Thank you so much once again for this opportunity to share. Try to be within my 15 minutes. Thank you. And if you have any questions, I'll type those resources into the chat. Let me know. Thank you once again. It's been a blessing.
Thank you, Susinga. Thank you. Please, you can pump your mic. You can just let her know that you heard her. Susinga, that was beautiful. That was really beautiful. That was beautiful. Thank you for that wonderful session. There were some things that you said here that spoke to me personally. It's possible to be a creative that can handle mental illness. And I think Dr. Sada too made this point when she was speaking. Who heals the healers? Words are containers. Aromatherapy. So these are some of the things that I took out from there. And of course, the question about why creatives are susceptible to mental illnesses, and of course you broke that down. Thank you very much. And I want to also to tell everybody in the room that Tosinga, you can check her out at website www.tosinga.com, and of course you can follow follow all of our speakers on social on their social media handles. You can also, of course, head to About Poetry Club, our Facebook page, and give us a like. You can also share the video from there so that the live stream, so that other people can enjoy what we're enjoying here right now. We're going to run to Alabama in the United States of America, where Miss Chalondra is waiting to share in 10 minutes her thoughts about mental health. And I'm sure this is another session that we are going to enjoy, because this one is a session about very majorly about experience and her daily work. Please help me join me make welcome Miss Chalondra Scott. Chalondra, are you there? I think she's okay. While we wait for Miss Chalondra to join us, my friend Yao P, how is Ghana today?
Ghana is fine. It's quite funny. I just saw people's lights were off, and I'm like, oh, our brothers. Ghana and Nigeria is just like twins.
Yeah,
it's fine.
It's so good to have you here tonight, man. So good to have you. We are on the last 30 minutes of our conversation. It's a pity we couldn't, because of network issues, we couldn't start at 7:30. I think we lost some 10 minutes. So we're in the last 30 minutes of our meeting here. So I want you to quickly run through a few pieces and maybe a few words in less than 10 minutes.
That's fine. That's fine. Ghana and Nigeria, as I said, we are twins, and normally we need to support each other. From the days of the struggle towards independence till now, we've been together, and we need to support each other to climb to success, not leaving our French-speaking countries and other people. We are humans, and we definitely need each and every one. For me, poetry was the simplest way to move away from reality. Because growing up, things were a little harsh. And where I was staying, I needed not to say or talk. So I wanted to write my experiences. And as Dr. Adamu and the two singers were saying, you know, you need to put down things that your experiences. So poetry actually was the best way for me to write the things I was going through then. And then, you know, as I said, the simplest way, because if you write too long, somebody might see, and that would also cause a lot of problems in the house. So poetry took me away from reality. But at the university, it became part and parcel of me. Whatever I see, I wrote in short pieces, and then I developed this strong interest. And from 2003, I've been writing poetry consistently. It's never been easy, as Doc said, and as Tusinga also said, you need to put food on the table. This is more or less like a pastime now, like a hobby now. So you definitely need to eat to put body and soul together before you can think of what to write or what to perform or put together. And I always tell creatives, find something doing. I'm a very busy person in the day, and sometimes I need to stay awake from like 11 to 2 a.m. just to put something together, just to feed my followers. And let me also put this across, that it is always these type of fake followers and other things that is making creatives lose our minds. I spend the whole night creating something, and then I put it on social media. You go to Instagram, 3 people liked it, Facebook 4, Twitter, nobody, you know, that place is a hot place. Nobody even checked it out. And your YouTube page, you are just like 74 subscribers and other things, and you think you are not getting there. So why should I kill myself on this? There's one thing you need to know. Many people are reading your bits, but they are not even clicking on it. A big man in Ghana once called me and said, like 2 weeks, I've not read anything from you. And I was like, hey, at where I said, oh, I am your ardent reader on Facebook, but with my position, I can't comment. I can't even like. I don't want people to see this, this, and that. By your words, your lines inspire me days that I'm down. And I tell you, anytime you see me write these things too, that means personally I am down. And Tusinga said, who heals the healer? Okay, I myself am facing issues, but I need to put things out there. So I buy into whatever experience I go through. These are the things I normally write. It is not always the inspiration or whatever. Experiences and environment I find myself. Suicide is real. We've all gone through sessions that nearly took us to that place. I don't think you are too big for that. Tusinga brought the spiritual aspect of it. You know, those of you who are Christians, I don't know much about Islam, but those of you who are Christians, you remember that Jesus Christ was tempted when he was up the mountain by the devil to jump. Even he, Jesus Christ, how much more you know, body and blood. So we should be mindful of these things, that you can easily be tempted. Sometimes, you know, words can hit you. Touch this, do this, drink this, take this, hang yourself. Sometimes it even comes in as funny. So if I jump from this 3-story building, what will happen to me? By the time you know, you are jumping. So we need to control our minds. If you can control your mind to weave a beautiful piece, then definitely you need to control your mind when you hear things coming in. And we also need to also seek for help. I love talking to a lot of people on social media. I'm the indoor type, but in a minute I can talk to as much people as I want, discussing whatever I want to discuss. And I think it helps a lot. The last thing I will say before I go on to my piece is that we should manage our expectations. We as creatives should manage our expectations. And I've divided it into 2. The first one is that don't expect anything from anyone. Don't expect anything, not even minimize it. Don't expect anything from anyone. In my office, the only thing that is constant is my salary, and me going to work 8 and closing 5. Nothing more, nothing less. I don't expect my boss to give me some tips or take me to a trip or whatever. No. Because of that, whatever happens in my office, my back is, as Ghanaians will say, you can dash the other person some money or something. I don't care. I have tuned my mind to that expectation. I have never in my life thought of expecting any other thing apart from what I have. And it has helped me. When I write on social media, I don't expect anybody to like it. But I expect these bashes, that is what will keep me. But I don't expect people to come and say, wow, type something, you are the best, you are the genius, you are this. No, I don't give a hoot. So the first thing, don't expect anything. But the second point also comes in to more or less contradict the first one, which says don't expect anything. It says that be prepared for anything. I'm saying that you shouldn't expect anything, at the same time saying that I should be prepared for anything. It simply means that we're living in a world of negativity. The next person is not thinking good about you. Don't think all those smiles are just, people who like you. Have you asked yourself why you have more than 3,000 people following you, but anytime you make a post, you have only like 10, 15, or at most 100 people liking? The rest are waiting for you to die so that they will just write on their walls, tell me it is not true, gone too soon, what a shock, and those things. The rest are waiting for a negative information of you to disseminate. They are more or less like war jiggles hanging around your room, waiting for you to go down so that they laugh at you. So please, as you are not expecting anything, make sure that you are prepared for anything. Be prepared that you can be sacked at any moment from the office. Be prepared that your Facebook wall can be taken away. Be prepared that your YouTube wall that you've used years to build can just be taken away from you. Be prepared that you can fall at any time. And see, when you prepare your mind for such things, it builds you up because you need strength and tenacity to stand all these things. let me borrow words from a true singer. Spirituality is very important. Don't think you are too personal, like you are too physical. He was loved by the boss yesterday, and the next day he was sacked from office. You've not asked. Things happen in the spiritual before they in the spiritual before they manifest in the physical. You need to be spiritual. Spirituality doesn't necessarily mean going to a prayer camp or pray to a God. Always remember that there's a bigger deity out of all the deities we have. Pray to that person and it will help. Let me just stop at this juncture and then give a line I wrote. Few lines I wrote this afternoon purposely for this program, and I titled it Prevent Suicide. Prevent Suicide. And here it goes. Rope dangling on the center table. One works if the other fails. Doors locked, phones off, no disturbance, just in case. Mission on the way. The story is so simple. Life has not been her friend, and her smiles that show her dimple are all fake, like shadows on a wall. Tears in her eyes. She sits on the floor, seemingly saying her last prayer. Anxious for a while, she checks her heartbeats with her palm. She thinks of the journey ahead and feels mission impossible. But now, death is the ultimate. Beautiful soul shall die with a polluted mind, but there was no one to talk to and no one to listen to her. There was no one to help and no one to stand in. Suicide takes days to activate. Someone can stop it. Thank you very much.
Wow.
So that was the poem.
Wow.
Yes, I thought I was off. So that was the poem. I wrote it definitely. I had a young friend who died out of suicide, and she wrote a simple piece that her boyfriend had left her. Sorry, I laughed. You get it. But this was somebody I was always speaking to, life issues. But I thought she was too young to know what love is. And I never ventured into that area until she died and wrote a simple note that she died because the guy left her for somebody. So if I had ventured into that arena, I could have saved her life. May her soul rest in peace. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Yao P. Thank you, Rashid. That was a beautiful piece and beautiful words from you. And may God rest the soul of your friend. So some lines I took from your piece. The story is so simple. It's always simple. Checks have heartbeat with our palm. Beautiful soul shall die with a polluted mind. So thank you for that piece. It's always important to listen to other perspectives. I mean, we're here in Nigeria. Most of us are in Nigeria. Then we've listened to Singa from the US, and now Yao P from Accra in Ghana. Thank you very much for that wonderful piece. And I know that we all need healing, actually. We all need healing. The thing is that people tend to think that it's not okay to not be okay, like to say like Dr. Sadatu said. You know, it's okay to not be okay. It's okay to worry. I often tell people this: if you need to cry, cry. If you need to cry, cry. If you need to sit alone, just observe some me time, do that. Anything that works for you, because at the end of the day, your mind is yours. Your mind is yours. That's about the only thing you have exclusive right over in this world. So thank you very much. We're on the last 15 minutes of this. I don't know how we're going to do this because we need to take the questions. My friend Odd Felix, please give us a piece. The Odd Felix, are you there? Odd Felix for his piece. Felix Ayuk, a wonderful, creative, very young, very energetic. I think he recently celebrated 27, and he's been doing amazing work within the sector. Odd Felix, are you there? I don't think he's there.
I'm here. Good evening. I was muted. I thought I was unmuted.
Okay. Okay, please go. Please take it away. We have about 14 minutes to the end of this. So as brief as possible. So sorry.
Okay, as brief as possible. So I'll just make this okay, I'll just take out some of the things I had already arranged to make this really short. So I'll just take you on a really short journey. And I'll start with this. Yeah, this is a poem of resilience. If you hear say a day offline, nobody say a day depressed. Nobody say I take break from social media or no gree buy data. And my phone spoil. You see, as village people don't the day for city, it be like say a city. Where I go work, results no go show. Results no the climb stage. It be like insects don't chop the ladder. Life had even small picking go tell you. But me, I'm gonna do it and I feel do. So if you not hear me release new poem again, nobody say I quit poetry. Nobody say I take the money to record, go gamble. Now the studios they on strike. You see, no be everywhere be better way. Sometimes man get to find the one way. Even ships them get compass. And with them, you go feed them make a goal, no compass you. As I get hand, I no go put my destiny for your own now. So if you say I don't die, nobody say I commit suicide. Now nature talks say you don't want a person kill me. See, as I breathe, they go, I'm going to do everything where I feel do to make me better. I'm going to be my driver, my pilot, my captain. And if nothing come what, make nobody see me shut the office door. Make it be say I play my part, but condition carry the cup. So if you say I no do again, nobody say I no want to do. Nobody say I don't give up. At the end, don't reach. Okay, so I'll just jump into this one, and then that'll be all for now. One day you realize that everything you feed you with leaves you hungry. Maybe you change your mind, maybe you change church, maybe you change school, maybe you change address, or maybe you'll assume you can cope with where you are. That day, you reopen closed doors and try to reset already set standards. Maybe you try to build back some bridges you burned. Maybe you dig some graves you once cemented. You'll even try to make sense out of some quotes you doubted, but surely you'll do something. You start to question your truths, doubt your faith, fear your boldness, rearrange your house, maybe shut your doors to visitors. That day you'll be in for a long ride. You wish you never knew what you knew. You'll appreciate ignorance and pray for its bliss. You'll see that you can't do the things you want to do because something has control of you. You find yourself paralyzed before the tags are bowed to you. That day, you won't be sure of anything. You'll advise your children to suggestion. Pray for your needs with faith in whatever outcome you get. You won't even be sure putting your right foot in front of your left is best, and your friends will suggest you go to a psych. That day, you know what it feels like to be in the bottomless pit. You start a journey without an end, or with an end you can't say yes. You take some steps and begin to doubt the light at the end of your journal. And begin to doubt the light at the end of your tunnel. The way you see the world will change. You doubt the love of your parents, fear the gifts of your friends, you'll appreciate the hugs from your enemies. You sleep with wolves, ignoring if they have sheepskin or not. That day, or the next, you make life-changing decisions. Maybe you create new resolutions, hope to keep to them. Maybe you not. Maybe you find Christ. Maybe you remarry your wife. Maybe you make life-changing decisions. Maybe you resign, maybe get another job. You conclude that you actually no longer yourself. Maybe you miss breakfast. Maybe your friends no longer give them attention. Maybe you'll be depressed, even contemplate suicide. Maybe you'll attempt it once. Maybe you fail. You have a lot of options before you. Maybe you pick one and damn the consequences. Maybe you pick many to be on the safe side. Maybe you pick none and watch how it will play out. No answer will be adequate for you. Books will seem like lies. The preachers will be questioned, and you begin to pick out loopholes in the stories history presents to you. What if it's not how it seems, you'll ask? What if there's something I'm missing, you'll ask? What if we are blinded? And you begin to care more. Maybe you give a damn about everything people say. Maybe you give an F about everyone that comes your way. Maybe you'll even make an attempt at perfection, as excellence seems satisfactory to you. Maybe you play God, even knowing the number of the hairs on your head. Maybe you speak out. Maybe it's to be embarrassing when you do, or maybe you deal with it yourself. Maybe you spend more time watching TV and hanging out with friends at every opportunity you get just to clear your head. Maybe you sleep more because every moment you spend awake leaves you stripped of comfort. When this day comes, everything about you will change, or maybe just some things, or maybe nothing at all. Maybe this day will come for you. Maybe it's not. Thank you.
Thank you, Felix. Thank you very much. Sorry that we had to compress your time. The next session of we're going to have more time for performances, and I know in the next session that Tosinga is going to be performing, and she has accepted that she'll be performing. So she's going to be performing live for us, sharing her music with us live. I want to invite Chalondra to say a few words if she's back. Chalondra, are you here? Miss Chalondra.
Hello.
Yeah, welcome. We have about 6 minutes, 6 or 7 minutes. So what you can throw in within those minutes.
Let me see. Okay, so just based off like the mental health topic and stuff, just from what I see, like in my job, if anybody doesn't know, I'm a medical profession here in the United States. So just by statistics, they say that 1 in every 5 adults have some type of mental illness, but only 1 in 20 goes and get help for it, which is very low. And I have had my own share of mental health, just dealing with like childhood traumas, early adulthood traumas, like what we allow other people to do to us, or even say to us in our early adulthood life. It's very important. And it's very important to me because I have a few people that I don't even know if it's an honor, but I would say it's an honor because I feel like I was a part of saving their life when they was, on the brinks of feeling like there was no hope in their situation. And a few of those people, we are still friends. A few of those people are my close friends. But mental health is very, important. It's good to, set boundaries. And people always, they want to know, like, do people who have money have mental health? A lot of times people with money have the most mental health issues. The thing is, we don't see it because the money kind of cover ups what they're dealing with, but they have a lot of mental health issues. A lot of people who are, wealthy, they deal with a great deal of mental health because they have so much, so much money. The money is overwhelming. It overwhelmingly covers what they're going through. Man, we just don't see it. So, mental health issues has nothing to do with like gender, age, income, race, or anything like that. And mental health is very treatable. Even if you don't want to do medications, I tell people a lot of times, do your research. Don't just because the doctor, and I work in the medical field, but just because a doctor or a nurse throws some pills at you, don't mean that you have to take them. Do your research. If you choose to do medicine, do your research still and figure out what medication works the best for you. But I'm all for natural stuff, music, finding God is the number one. That should be your foundation, and therapy. Nature is natural healing. I love being outside in nature. Sometimes I know in my downtime, I will go to the park and literally just sit in the park and read and just try to drive out, all the negative thoughts and everything. I listen to the birds, chirp, just listen to different airplanes going by. And that's pretty much my take on mental health. My goal is to really try to help as many people as I can, especially people that are near and dear to my heart, to try to see that, in dark times, we all go through dark times, and it's very important to take care of your mental health, because if you don't take care of your mental health, then everything else kind of falls at the wayside. So I'm a natural healer. I love that when somebody said, who heals the healer? Sometimes the healer, the number one healer is God. So to all the strong people out there where people are always leaning and depending on you, you have to just look to God to be your source. Allow him to be your source and allow him to, operate in his strength and not your own. And that's all I have for today.
Well, thank you very much, Chalondra. I appreciate you sharing that. And I know your journey has been a very wonderful one. And it's really beautiful listening to you share that. I don't know, we have 4 minutes left. I don't know if we can take questions. It's really, I don't know if we can take questions. But I don't want us to extend this beyond 2 hours, because that's how much time we devoted to this. It's just that we didn't start on time. I want to thank everybody who found time to join. Mr. Lekwachi, president of the Aba Poetry Club, can you thank us in a minute? Aficionado.
Okay, can you hear me?
This is our landlord. So,
Yes, I'm here now. Can you hear me?
Yes. Just in a minute, you can just say a few words before we are off.
I want to thank you. I want to thank everybody, both members and our guests, for making it worthwhile. But forgive me to say this, of what is happening, especially in Africa, where that has become a problem. And that's it. I want to thank, as I said before, thank everyone for those who spoke. It's actually decide our minds. We've given us something to remedy our way, and I can't actually express how thankful I am, especially your people who spoke from Ghana, yes, Ghana and Nigeria, siblings. And I don't forget to remember the football thing, how they eliminated us and then ability and in Senegal and Nations Cup. And that said, I want to urge all of us to keep doing this and keep growing this circle. This is how we move on to reality. In our Poetry Club, we do not only think, we do not think that PF is elevated language. We feel it to be diversified with other art forms for healing, for therapeutic, to help reach the wounded blue
Zelagwachi, we're out of time.
mind. And this is why
Zelagwachi, we're out of time.
and we are happy. Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much. So that was the club president.
Okay.
That's 2 minutes, and I want to thank 1 minute now. I want to thank everybody for finding time to join us. We're going to keep doing this. We'll have the next session in about 2 weeks. We'll have a next session. Thank you to our speakers, Dr. Sadatu Adamu, to see Mr. Singer, Yao P, Ms. Chalondra, and of course, Odd Felix for finding time to join us today. Finding time to join us today. So I also encourage us to join. I'm going to drop the links of all of the speakers on the About Poetry Club page. So our questions, we can chat them up and ask them questions, because this is also part of why we're doing this, to have people for networking. So you can follow all of our speakers. Thank you very much. And with that, we end the room. Good night, everyone. So we can say, you can open up your mics, and we have out.
Good night, sir.
Yeah, good night,
Good night,
everybody.
everybody. Good night from Ghana.
Good night.
Good night, everyone. Good
Call
night.
me
Thank you
Prince.
for this.
I saw Call Me Prince here
Good
earlier.
night,
Earlier
everyone.
today. I saw Call Me Prince here. It was nice having
He
you,
has
Call Me
disappeared.
Prince. Yes, I saw him earlier, and so I would have extended it, but we don't want to, so that people can go do some other things they have for this night.
Yeah.
Okay.
Good night, everyone.
So good night.
Next
Good
conversation.
night, sir.
Good night. Good night. Good night.
Thank you, everyone.